Your Frontier opening bell is here for Wednesday, the 12th of March. Welcome, everyone. I am Bosin number 5. This is just your a wrap-up of the Tuesday's market. And you can see a bit of a sea of red across some of the biggest stock markets on the African continent, starting from South Africa's the GSE, holding the tail end of 87,000 on the All-Share Index by a quarter of a percent, despite more than 1% gain in resources. Index of the market, the financials and industrial segments dragged the South African market on Tuesday. The Nairobi market was down by roughly 0.2%. The Egyptian market went down 0.65%, still strongly finished around 30,900. The BRVM fell 0.2%. That's 291.85 for the composite, while the Nigerian stock market made a comeback in the green territory by 0.43%. Let's get that through. Pardon, that should be a negative one. It's a negative Tuesday for the Nigerian market. The market dived for profit booking. MTN shares were down 4.22%. Transcorp was down 1.6%. Owando fell 0.67%. Insurance made the gain we saw on the Nigerian bourse 0.87%. The banking, the consumer goods and industrial goods fell average 0.25%. So the Nigerian market was a negative 0.43% on Tuesday. Correction there. So we're taking a risk-off mode from the rest of the world on Tuesday, but the markets globally changing this morning with the news that Ukraine has accepted a 30-day ceasefire deal with Russia. Russia is yet to announce its own decision on the deal that was put together in Saudi Arabia between the U.S. envoy team of diplomats, as well as that of Ukraine and Saudi Arabia as well. We're waiting to hear from Moscow. Let's move on. But okay, we've got some other pinpoints on Tuesday. President Trump still raising the tariff war with some of the biggest economies in the world. Europe has retaliated with its own tariff on the United States. So he's called all the retaliation on the steel and aluminum sectors that President Trump hits on Tuesday. So the tit for tat continues right now as we speak. Let's come back to the continent and track a few market numbers. The Capital Market Authorities in Kenya, that's the CMA, says the Genghis Capital Limited is not under statutory management, but the firm has been asked to comply with some market rules that the CMA has put in place. But Genghis Capital is not under statutory management by the securities market regulator. That's putting putting that to rest. China Energy International Group delegates are in Ethiopia to explore investment opportunities with one of the biggest economies in eastern corridor of the continent, and of course as well on the continent as well. China is making stronger inroads into Ethiopia. The cabinet in Kenya yesterday with President Ruto discussed the state of the SACCOs at their weekly meeting, and that's because of the current problems we've seen with the cooperative societies financials in Kenya. The Rwandan new portal, Rwanda's floated a new portal for land matters, and that will help you to visualize all the transactions that's done on plots of land and the prices of a piece of land you want to acquire in real time. That is taking land matters to yet another level in Rwanda. And Tanzania is building East Africa's largest conference center, and that will be in Arusha. Great. Let's start checking with West Africa. Burkina Faso is making big news. Of course, says it's done $70 million deal to acquire the Tema hydrocarbon depot from the Ghanaian authorities. Burkina Faso, Mali, as well as Chad Republic exited ECOWAS economic and political regional group a couple of months ago. Burkina Faso and the others have been making economic and political moves of their own. Now, this is one of the deals that's independently done with Ghana. And Nigeria's central bank will today sell about 650 billion naira in the weekly NTB auction. We expect to get the result of that later today. We'll report that to everyone on Frontier Africa reports. Three-data treasuries, the yield is expected to be between 16 and 17%. And Nigeria's Mansour Ahmed has been appointed IETF 2025 ambassador. This year's intra-Africa trade will take place in Algeria. Algeria is hosting the biannual event. It's going to be a week-long event, which includes Canex, which has to do with cultural, entertainment, music, and everything else, and cuisine that the African Bank is putting together as part of the new intra-Africa trade region. Mansour Ahmed is one of Nigeria's iconic industrialists and international trade expert. We say congratulations to him. And Canada says it's expanding its air transport agreement with Senegal, while Cameroon's central bank has raised rate in order to attract about 145 billion CFA franc over the past 1 month. And the country says it's also building 2 new gas plants, and that will add 500 megawatts to the national grid in Nigeria's neighbor to the east of the continent. Cameroon belongs to the CEMAC region, the Central African Republic region. Let's take it to Southern Africa. Today is the D-Day, March the 12th, for South Africa's treasury to President Ramaphosa to return his multi-year budget for Parliament's consideration. Has all the areas been knocked together for the government of national unity to agree to the tax plans of Ramaphosa in the new budget? We expect to hear later today from Enoch Godongwana, the country's finance minister. And the Mall of Africa's owner attack is reporting 40% surge in distributable income and dividend for the year behind us. And ABSA, one of the biggest banking and financial services group in South Africa, is planning to save $273 million in US dollar terms by cutting costs over the next 3 years. This announcement came in the last 48 hours. And Premier African Minerals is raising about 600,000 British pounds capital for lithium and other mining on the continent. And Zambia's Tazama Pipelines says it's got a low sulfur diesel for $54.12 cents per metric tons for the month of May. That's going to be about 2 months from now, 2025. That's the period. Let's see what's making some splash in North Africa. Core inflation in Egypt is coming through at about 10% down for the month of February, but the country says it's reviewing customs system reforms in order to boost trade and curbs cross-border smuggling. There's a new initiative that the authorities in Cairo also put it together for expatriates to invest in the 1.5 million Faden project. And the engineering industry's exports in Egypt surged 42% in January. That's some good news for President Al-Sisi's economy, while the Australia's Azuis announced the acquisition of high-quality antimony exploration project in Morocco. The business of antimony has to do with metals that are used for manufacturing of weapons, and a few of that's also used in automobiles as well. And so these are some of the headlines as we see the rest of the world, follow the rest of the world on Trump's tariff war with Europe and what the rest of that bring to the markets, including frontier African markets as well. Do have a great Wednesday, everyone. We'll be on the lookout for U.S. inflation, latest inflation also later today. Keep all of that in mind as you focus on the African continent. Bye for now. Have a great day.